This episode has been brought to you by JustNForm.com. If you're tired of being censored, tired of having your data stolen and sold, go to JustNForm.com, a social media site where all voices are welcome.
So, fam.
The internet.
Fam. Welcome back to the Combo Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula.
Hi, I am Fiorella, and today we will be having a quick show. Tim Canova.
This is the old show too, fam. This is like when he was running as a Republican, but now he's running as an
Republican.
I'm sorry, a Democrat. There's not much of a big difference, is there now?
You all right there, Tiger?
It's not much of a difference, but anyways, he is running as an independent instead of a Democrat. He got out of the Dem-Enter movement because the Democratic Party in Florida works with the Republican Party to cover up their own crimes. What had happened, they just copped a plea deal with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I guess, old tech guy. And once again, nobody's going to have to pay the price. And what's been going on in Florida as far as their elections is disgusting. So Tim Canova, I need a new shirt, and I'll get rid of this Democratic shirt. Let's talk really quickly about in the news what happened the other day.
Yes.
I cried.
R.I.P.
I cried. As you know, on my TV, I am an RT fan. I have RT on my my TiVo on my recording, and every day I record news with Ed. Ed has always been a labor guy, a big-time labor guy, and he actually lost his job at MCSC. It started when he wanted to follow Bernie Sanders, but his editor and his boss said no, and they were trying to brush him off. And at the tender age of 64, Ed Schultz has died due to natural causes. So out there,
let the conspiracy theories begin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've quit drinking 12 days ago. I wasn't a big drinker anyways, but when you get up at that age, I'm 45 now. Ed Schultz was 64. That's young. But he did have a weight problem. He was a big guy. So watch yourself out there. Try to do the best you can.
Congratulations on quitting.
Well, thank you. It's just a start. I wasn't a big drinker anyways, but let's be healthy. And even my friend Jeremy White said the other day on the 4th of July, and I told him, since I've been hanging with the fam, since I've been hanging with our Jeremy White, Michelle Manis of the Bernie's Coffee Shop, big activist, we've been taking a day where I don't eat meat, and I don't have any pork. I have a veggie day. I have a pescatarian day. And when we hang out a lot more, we've been having a lot more fish days. I'm happy to report that I had 0 beef or pork on 4th of July. We had some beautiful salmon and whatnot.
We had CJ's famous shrimp boil.
There you go.
My God.
Not a stew, a boil.
Oh, my God.
Did you like?
It was so good.
Yeah, she replaced the sausage with like asparagus tips. And we did this all on the beach. And I made salmon packages with some dill and some mustard grain sauce and some broccolini.
So nice.
We watched the fireworks on the beach. We fed our activist friends because that's what we wanted to do for 4th of July. And that's how we celebrated. I'll move this a little bit closer to you.
Yes,
sorry.
Thank you.
So Ed Schultz has passed on. He's on the way. And I just want to say, God bless. We love you, Ed Schultz. We love the work you did. Yes, rest in power.
Respect, by the way. Yeah, a lot of respect for keeping up with his own integrity, his own beliefs, and not just doing what the establishment wanted him to do, even if it cost him his job.
Yeah, he fought them. He fought the establishment. He said, "You know what? I'm not going to."
More of that.
Yeah, he went to RT. He took his platform over there because there was no corporate shackle holding him down to report the real news. He was also the one who really pushed to try to get the Occupy Wall Street covered, and they wouldn't cover it as well. So, I mean, it's a shame. We've lost a great one. Rest in power, fam. What do you want to talk about?
I did want to mention today's heat wave in Los Angeles, and we sure as hell feel it here.
Ooh, let me put it on silent mode. We have a fan down here.
It's crazy hot. It's up to 115, I think they were saying, in Woodland Hills. Shout out to Lauren Hamill. If you're in Woodland Hills, be careful. And my car thing said 115, and I'm just thinking about all the people that are homeless right now that don't have a cool place to go in. I think there should be sort of like, when it's really cold, there's like a freeze kind of initiative to get people like shelter. There should be that with the heat wave because it's not going to go away. This is the new norm. and we need to be able to help those people that are outside. I know Mel's been doing a lot today, going and filming.
He was on under the 105 today with 3 people that he talked to them. And
it's a lot to take in. I recommend you follow Mel on Facebook because his videos are very telling, and they really touch you in a way because it's real. And so if you have time, if you have water and you see someone out there, give them water bottles and anything that
you stop at the supermarket, the grocery store, grab some extra cold water, some extra cold Gatorades, whatever's on sale, whatever you can afford. And if you see somebody that's on the street, give it to them. Look them in the eye and say, stay safe today. You know what I'm saying? Look them in the eye. That's the thing is I gave somebody $5 the other day on the street, and John was like, well, there's a good chance he's going to spend it on drugs. I said, yeah, there is a good chance. And I'm not trying to enable that in any way, shape, or form. But it was the moment I gave him the $5, looked him in the eye and said, hey, man, be safe. He looked me in the eye, and it's almost as if he was human again. People don't talk to these people like they're humans. And it's a shame. So to make them feel human, even the showers, when we go there, seeing them before they go into the showers and then after they come out of the showers. Wow, fam.
Yeah. Wow. No. I did want to mention something that I was able to do yesterday. I went with Carlos Marroquin to a meeting with Public Bank of Los Angeles. And, as you know, they've been doing a lot of great work. They've now accomplished to have it on the ballot in November. And the key is to get everyone on the same page. When you talk about banking, when you mention the word banking, people automatically tune out. They're probably tuning out right now.
Yeah.
I'm just saying banking.
But they don't know how important this is, fam.
And this is banking for the people. So the problem is when corporations and Wall Street own these banks, they can do whatever they want. And you don't know what they're using to take money away from people, how they're exploiting the public. When it's a public bank, this is the first step towards something that I would be a co-op. I think we need more of that. But this is like a first step in having a bank be by the people and for the people. The city of Los Angeles would have the public bank. This doesn't even affect Pasadena, by the way. This is only for Los Angeles. And so Los Angeles would own the bank, and then therefore you could have more control of where this money is going and what it's being used for. And then that money is funneled back into the city. And it's just a very simple concept. We can't get caught up too much into the intricacies of it. Otherwise, people aren't going to respond to it. And so that's what they were discussing, how to tell the people and explain it to them in a way that, they understand that it's actually for the people. I mean, do you trust Wall Street with your money more, or do you trust
the Fed?
The city
right,
council?
Come on. The Fed is dictating everything to the banks, and the Fed's pretty much dictating how we do our banking, the interest rates. And those big banks, like the big Bank of America, Chase, that get the money from the Fed, they aren't lending the money out to the people. They're not getting it out to the people.
And if
they're using it to buy their own stock.
They're doing it irresponsibly if they are.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole Glass-Steagall with Clinton. They're just taking that money and going tally-ho. With the public bank, we're now going to get great interest rates. And I understand what they used to do back in the days with public banking is they used to have them in the post offices. So maybe that's another avenue. We can have public banking in the post office.
You still have the bank if you want, but this is another option. And that's one thing. And also people will automatically say, well, doesn't this make the government have more control? No, this is just a way to have a municipal bank, kind of like we want municipal internet here for the public. And so therefore they have to adhere to higher standards, and you can hold them accountable. You're not going to be able to hold Wall Street accountable.
Never.
So
never.
That's the difference. And this is great. And they're actually going to move together with the Affordable Housing Act and kind of work in cohesion, which is a great idea. They all go hand in hand together, and we need to push these things forward. We all need to get behind Proposition 10 and public banking for Los Angeles.
Okay, I'm going to look for some stuff that fam sent me. Didn't come in yet.
I think the internet must be slow, but go ahead and...
Let's talk about this because this all ties into affordable housing and whatnot. I saw a video today. I posted it up on my Facebook page, and it was about baby boomers versus millennials and the chances and the opportunity they were given. I got a cartoon right behind me, and it says right over here, "Move back home. Kids today are so lazy and irresponsible. Your mother and I started out with nothing." When you got the son, who's got a 5-figure student loan debt on his back and says, trust me, I would have loved to start out with nothing. And once again, this is the differences. This is this started with Ronald Reagan, the attack on labor, the attack on the youth, the attack on hey, you got yours. Who cares? I've got mine. So who cares if you got yours? And the differences we started out with. And this says right here, here's a graph. Today's young adults in debt and a degree earn the same as workers did without a degree in 1989. This is what I talk about. My uncle was able to push a broom in a factory without a degree, send 3 kids to college and pay with no debt, go on a vacation. He was in Long Island, New York. Okay? He was able to go on vacation for 2 weeks every year and not sweat it, not sweat his house payment, his electrical payment. The other day, fam, remember when you gave me some money for the electrical bill? I went there, I'm like, how are they charging this much for electricity? $400 for 2 months. I said, wait, $200 a month? We don't even have central air and heating. Oh, well, you know, those little air conditioning areas, they use a lot of energy. I'm saying, not to the tune of friggin' $200. I mean, it doesn't make all our bills.
It's worse in Florida.
It's terrible. Our bills are much higher. Our school was basically free back in the days. And here's the war of the words, because it's not only it's the way they label us. And I want to show you the ways they label millennials to the way they label baby boomers. They used to call baby boomers respectful. And the millennials, they're just tech savvy. They used to say that the baby boomers are work centric, but you millennials, you're materialistic. They used to say that and this one makes me laugh because I got somebody over here who's an activist and is always out there fighting for the people. They used to say that the baby boomers were community oriented while the millennials selfish. They used to say that the baby boomers were well educated while the millennials are lazy. And then last but not least, they used to say that the baby boomers were ethical. Oh, my dad and my mom, they were ethical. And they said, the millennials, they call you arrogant.
And look who's in power right now. And let me know where those adjectives fall in line, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the problem is we need more millennials in our government, in our Congress, and less of these. And I don't like to label this as, millennials versus boomers, because I know plenty of boomers who are not like that, who don't blame me, who don't think I'm lazy, who don't look down condescendingly on the millennial generation. And I hate that there has to be this battle, but I think it's more of the times. Like, it was 2 completely different times. And, we're growing up in this time where we are so reliant on social media because it's what we have. Without social media, millennials wouldn't have any power. If you think about it, we really wouldn't. And social media,
and they're even trying to cut
way.
That too, right? With net neutrality, they're trying to gut that shit too.
And thankfully, California is going to pass the strongest net neutrality. I guess what would you say? The strongest net neutrality rules or protections in the United States.
And absolutely.
It's a good time to be in California, I guess, in reference to that.
Yeah.
And that goes to show that if you hold these politicians accountable, even if they're ones that you don't like, you can actually push them to do things, because they know they will lose that power if they don't.
You and your group, what you guys have been doing, and I say this because I went to a She Does candlelight vigil the other day to honor.
Tell me about that.
Well, her name was C. They didn't know her real name, so they just named her C. She was an elderly woman. She actually lived in Eagle Rock. She lived in that community for years. She had a house and whatnot, and then she somehow ended up on the streets, because a lot of people say that it's just an imported problem. It's not. These are a lot of people within their own communities ending up on the streets, which we saw Mel today. The people that he was talking to were homeless from that city.
Yeah.
So we went out there because there was nobody to honor her. And we lit a candle to let people know, and to let, hopefully, whoever know that, we care. We do care. There are a bunch of people out there who do care and are concerned with what goes on, and keep on throwing it in people's faces and letting them see. Because we didn't even talk about the housing situation. When you talk about the Affordable Housing Act that you have in front of them, this is another issue too, where baby boomers were able to buy a house.
Yes.
And then in 20 years, that house was worth 300 times what they bought it for. Sell that house, put that money in the bank, retire comfortably. They can die comfortably. And we don't have that opportunity. We don't even have the opportunity.
I'm not even going to have Social Security.
No. Oh, yeah. With the way they're after our Social Security, all the money I put into that. And believe you me, I'm a Generation X. I'm right in between the baby boomers and the millennials. And I just want to say this, fam, before you talk about the Affordable Housing Act, because I was able to go out in 2016 and campaign and go to rallies and go to events, and up to 2018 and still doing it. I saw some of the greatest millennials, and this is how became a fam, we work together, but, just seeing these young kids out there who are out there fighting, how they're educated and informed, and then they all get lumped into Pokemon chasers or lazy on there. It's just not true. There's a great deal of millennials out there fighting. And I just tip my hat off to you because, I was tucked between this here. So I got the short end of the stick too, in the workforce.
The Fight Club generation.
The Fight Club generation. And it's very, very weird because, I was able to see the opportunity my parents had and see what they were able to do to buy a house and then sell it and put that money in the bank. And then see what the millennials are going through for their college and their education, how it's ridiculous.
We're the most educated generation and the poorest as well.
Yeah.
We're overeducated, but we can't do anything with that education. I mean, I know so many people with freaking doctorates, master's degrees, working as waiters or bartenders because it's the most money they can make because they can't find a job that pays them decently. And then, that job will say, well, we'll start you at 18 an hour. Yeah. And it's like, well, you can make a lot more than that doing something else. So why would you even do that? And, for what? To work for someone else? And it's like, that's why the millennials, a lot of them are starting their own businesses. They want to work for themselves. And I think that's a way to kind of get out of this oppressive, capitalistic, fascist system, because that's what's happening right now. And so the Affordable Housing Act is right here. I'm going to show you guys this because I don't think the thing sent, but
okay, I'll get it up close real quick.
Yeah. So the rent is too damn high is basically the slogan for that. The Affordable Housing Act has been, we've been fighting for this forever. It essentially repeals Costa-Hawkins. So it allows people to have affordable controlled rent. So these people don't exploit you and don't raise your rent by $500 in 1 month or something ridiculous like that, which has been happening to a lot of people. And 1 in 3 Californians pay more than half their income in rent.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And this will return the power to regulate rental housing units back into the local governments. And it will allow the governments to establish stronger rent controls that would address our lacking in housing affordability and our homelessness crisis. So what I was talking to Carlos yesterday about was how the Affordable Housing Act, the She Does movement, and the public banking system are all these things working as in a triangle, right? Like we need public banking so there's responsible lending so people's money goes where it should be. Then we need to lower the prices for housing and have rent control so these people can afford a place to live. That affects people who are evicted and then become homeless. All of these things are connected.
Yeah.
And we need to start looking at the bigger picture, the interconnectivity of things.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just say this is one issue, this is another issue. No, we need to build coalitions between these organizations because they need each other. And that's what we found out yesterday. They need each other. They need to support each other. And hopefully we can get other progressives too to come and support these causes and unite and actually fight together and show the people how all of this is connected and how important it is.
It's connecting the dots. We did this story about as far as everybody's talking about, the abolish ICE and don't put kids in cages. And where we start saying, well, why are they migrating here en masse? Mm-hmm. Because what's going on in Central and South America, the issues, the American intervention is really pushing them there. So it's not just solving it over here. It's doing both. Let's abolish ICE. Let's put the CIA on a leash and let's stop intervening in other countries. In other words, no country should be intervened with directly from the CIA like we did in Iran or whatnot, because it's just going to lead to a plethora of issues down the road. And you can't just cleaning up on the surface. Mel was talking to somebody today and he was connecting the dots and he spoke to this guy. He goes, listen, I'm a homeless guy now. I've been homeless for 9 years and I have trouble working because I was in a union. Now I can't get an ID because I don't have an address. I can't get it if I don't have an ID. I can't work in the union. So it's just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And it's like 4 things down the road, which lead to why we're having a problem right now. And when it comes to the Affordable Housing Act, it's like you said, it's so many things that connect. The public banking will help the situation out. The lowering of the rents will help the situation out. Mm-hmm. That's why when it comes to electing candidates, we have to watch out when they start investing or taking money from real estate investors. Exactly. Not mentioning any names. Holy Rowda! Not mentioning any names, but you know what I'm saying? We have to pay attention to it because it's more than just,
it's
on
all
the
connected,
surface.
100%. And regarding your millennial and, baby boomer thing, I think I think we need to find a solution to where, you know, we're not just coming at it as like attacking the other side. But it's just,
I don't want to attack them. I just want to beat them up, fam.
It is the truth that, you know, the millennial generation constantly gets like spat on, like avocado toast. I always talk about avocado toast because, you know, they use that. They're like, oh, you have money to go to brunch avocado toast, you can go buy a home. And it's like, not really, because, you know, $25 brunch does not equate to how much it would cost me to buy a home in Los Angeles. No. I mean, it's like, if you're going on the cheap end, more than $500,000 to go buy a home here. But yeah, and you know, and then there's like having student loan debt, which ruins your credit. And then it's like, well, if you don't have good credit, then you can't really buy a home. And it's like all of these things are affecting people, and it's not about working hard. I know so many people that work so hard and are making shit money for what they do. It's insane, and they are worth so much more than that. And to be told, like, you know, you're lazy or whatever, when the only activists I see out there are mainly, I mean, we have some older activists, but the majority of them are young millennials or younger.
Yeah. Because they're the ones getting screwed. So that's kind of cool because now it's just, I mean, like you said, they're after the Social Security next. It's one thing after the other. But also, fam, I want to send some love out to some people. You know, there are people out there, the older activists, and I think it's great because people like Lauren Steiner, who do talk about who are fighting for. Lauren Steiner doesn't have to fight. Lauren Steiner could be back, sitting back, doing whatever. She could be on a beach somewhere, but she sees what's going on, and she's out there fighting. And she always says, don't blame it on the older generation, too. Well, she doesn't always say. She said it one time for people like herself who are fighting the fight. So I say thank you to those people who can see that. Yeah. Thank you, Lauren Steiner, for showing up the robust opposition and saying, hey, let's make it fair across the board to immigrants, to people of color. You know, we appreciate what you do. So I just definitely want to point that out.
I did want to mention something that I saw, but I don't know if you can get it on. It's it's a picture of a family that this family, it's not a picture of a family. It's a picture of like Mary, baby Jesus, and Joseph, and they're in a cage, and they're right in front of a church, and the church says, would you put this family in a cage? And that's sending a message to the people who love to, you know, these religious people love to talk about how they're Christian and how they love God and how they're, you know, good people, but a lot of these people are okay with putting people in cages. And it was very symbolic having, you know, the Mary and baby Jesus and Joseph in a cage, because that's kind of what we're doing.
The majority of the Christian right has become a joke. Really, what would Jesus do? Jesus would be a communist, if anything.
A socialist Jew.
Come on, please, man. A socialist, democratic Jew. Democratic socialist Jew.
We're talking about Bernie Sanders?
Oh, yeah, talking about Jesus. You know, Bernie's biggest smile on his face was when he got to go meet the Pope. He loved that whole situation. And yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to go to work today. We have to make money to pay for this, everything you see over here. If you get a chance, go to our Facebook page and like us there. Go to our YouTube page, like us there. Go to our Twitter and following us. Next Friday, but we have a whole week still of the contest. The Convo Couch is going to, if you go and follow us and you leave a meme, we're going to pick the best meme. We're going to send you $25 cash for you, and we're going to send you $25 into your favorite campaign and make a donation in your name. So once again, go to our Convo Couch. I'll go to our Twitter real quick. Let me see if I can go up there real quick.
And let me mention Scott Pruitt did resign, which was something that happened
we didn't talk about
over this weekend. And he is right now replaced by Andrew Wheeler, who is a co-lobbyist and an enemy of the EPA, but nonetheless, the environmental activists and people who were working for the EPA were extremely elated. They were very happy, and they were like, "Hi, Scott." So it's good, but then again, it's like we don't know who's going to replace him. You know, it's like we never know.
This is it right here. Go to the Convo Couch, Twitter. Follow us on the Convo Couch Twitter, and then leave a meme over here. By next Friday, we're going to make a decision, me and the fam, and we're going to pick the best meme out there. All right? We got to get wrapped up, fam. We got to go to work.
We do.
You have a job to do.
I do.
So we got a little MF Doom playing in the background. We want to thank you very much for coming on to the Combo Couch. I am Pasta Jardula.
And I am Fiorella. See you guys on Monday.
See you soon.
Peace. Namaste.